It's come to my attention that some of your parents didn't love you and didn't tell you how to hold a gun. So I'll be your daddy today. So we're talking about how to hold a gun. Now this is a training pistol that I use when I teach classes and stuff, but it keeps us safe when my camera guy is sitting right there. Rule number one, every gun is loaded. It's loaded even if you see there's no bullet. We don't point this at our friends. We don't point this at anything that we don't want to destroy. We want to think of this a little bit like a lightsaber that's always on. And if we turn it past our friends, we just cut them in half. We never want to point this muzzle at something we're willing to destroy, or not willing to destroy. That being said, we have to be aware of what's behind our target as well. These bullets will rip through flesh and hit whatever's behind them. If you care about that, you'd be concerned about what's behind your target. Now that that's out of the way, and also these are, did I say that? These are loaded all the time, regardless, and you keep your finger off the trigger till your sights are on target. Those are the 4 rules of firearm safety. You'll hear them repeated all the time, but we're not going to be worried too much about that because we have a laser pistol here while I'm talking about it. Once we go to the hot range, that'll be more applicable, but we still want to train like we fight. So here's a training pistol. Notice that the back of this hand, it's called the beaver tail. The back of this hand grip is called the beaver tail, and it interfaces very nicely with our hand here. See, now when I do it like this, the hand goes into the gun, and I get up as high as I can on this pistol. That'll come into play when recoil is being affected, and we'll keep the gun down that way. I've seen people hold the gun like this, hold it like this, hold it like this. All of that is like, I mean, if that works for you, it's okay to be wrong. But what we want to practice is eating up all of this real estate. You see this L shape on the gun, and that fits nicely with this L shape in my hand. So we're holding the gun as high as we can on the beaver tail. The thumb interfaces here, and then all fingers go around the other hand. Sometimes you'll see people do that. That's not really accurate either. So we want, like this, every bit of this black is eaten up by my hands. There's no, like, if you look at it, there's no real estate that's not being held onto. So this is a firm firing grip. This is a firm firing grip too that we'll talk more about in the draw stroke of using a pistol. But this is the full firing grip that we want. Notice that both of my thumbs are pointed towards whatever I'm going to be shooting, and that's your first way to align the sights, by pointing your thumbs generally into the target, and then you're going to pick up your sights. So when the gun comes out from your chest, you're picking up the sights, but your thumbs are doing most of the pointing initially. And I can shoot, like from here, I can see the front sight. I'm losing accuracy here. And as I bring the gun out, I've gotten more and more precise shots. Eat up all this real estate and keep your finger off the trigger. I like to find a firm register point on the pistol. In this case, it's the ejection well, and I can feel that. So even if I am like, if I can't see, if I'm falling down, if whatever, come hell or high water, I know that my finger is not on the trigger and I'm not shooting my friend. A lot of people will walk around like this. That's all fine and good until you stub your toe and you shoot your buddy in the back or whatever. Keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire. This is a training pistol. I highly recommend that you get one of these. These SIRT pistols. Notice there's a red laser. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a red and a green laser that come out when I pull the trigger. This helps you work on trigger control. So the red laser knows that you're pulling the trigger. The green laser happens when you break the shot. And then notice how I pulled the trigger that way. So the red laser comes on, the green breaks the shot, but when I take my finger off the trigger, I'm focused on keeping that red there. And that allows me to come back to the predictable wall of the trigger and allows me to quickly break another shot. We'll talk more about this later on, but I want to introduce these concepts to you now. So we're riding the trigger. That predictable wall allows us to shoot quickly. So it looks like from the outside, we're pulling the trigger, letting it back out slowly, and then pulling again. That's how we get quick fire follow-up shots. Oftentimes, new shooters, I will see they do kind of like a slapping motion, where it's more like, and notice how like much the gun moves, and like, it's even hard for me to do. But like the gun is moving, and the lasers will show you where those bullets will end up. So don't slap your trigger. Another thing that people will do, they'll put their finger all the way through the trigger, and that's an exaggeration, right? But they'll be doing like this, and notice that it's pulling the gun, like we're pushing the gun this way. So we just want, like we're playing the piano, we want to curl our fingers a little bit, get that high beaver tail grip, but just the front of the trigger, or just the pad of our finger is going onto the trigger. That allows us to break the shot nicely and allows the gun to not be flying around. There's so many concepts about firing a gun, and they're all like situationally dependent, but they start from here. And if you don't have the fundamentals, you're not going to go to the expert level. So start here, practice these all the time. Everything you want is on the other side of awareness, education, and repetition. So get to putting in the reps.